Guys, this is for 30-year-old women who are Christian and still single. I'll start by saying this. I turned 30 last year. I'm gonna be 31 this fall. I have never been asked out on a date in my life, and I mean that. Never. I've never been approached by a guy. I've never had a man show interest in me. And I would never have admitted to that a couple years ago. I was ashamed and embarrassed about that. I was like, oh, it's because I'm stupid maybe, or, I'm not attractive, or all these things. Like, I thought it was a deficiency in me. But I have been hearing from other women the exact same thing, especially Christian women, where it's like, no one, I'm 27, I'm 28, I've never been asked out. And so I think there's a problem on both sides. I think that women get blamed a lot, where people will say, you hoard yourself in your 20s, and, you cared about your career and you did all these things to keep men away from you. And I think I never did any of that stuff. And I know a lot of other women who didn't do that stuff. And they're just, men aren't asking women out maybe. I don't know.
Did you maybe ask them like a man instead of like women sitting around talking about the stuff? Did you maybe ask a man what he thought about the situation? Maybe you have a guy that's a friend of yours, maybe your dad, your grandpa. All of those would be pretty good options, just to kind of, hey dad, can I talk to you about X, Y, and Z, or whatever it is. I mean, you could start by talking to your mom, but mom's eventually going to give way to dad and say, hey, go ask your dad and you see what he thinks.
Why do men no longer come up to women? I asked this in a TikTok last week, and it got so many comments, especially from men. And I just want to preface this with, this was no shade to men. This post was no shade to men, and neither is this one. I was just genuinely curious and asking. I love men. I think they're awesome, and I think that they're a little confused right now. But most of their responses said something like, we were told not to go up to you guys, and we were told that you want to be left alone and you just want your own space and you don't want us approaching you. Which for some women that can absolutely be true, but I love meeting people in person. And
well, now you're talking about you. What's the confusion there? I mean, they don't know you. So if a woman is multiple women are telling men, don't come up here, do not bring your behind over here and approach me. I don't get where the confusion is from so far.
And I just think that it takes a confident person to go up to someone when you see them in
you and every other woman
person. And I think it's a really cool way to meet people rather than meeting people online. Men were also saying things like they were called creeps and weirdos, and they don't want to be called that. It's not a pleasant experience. But I will say that it has to do with how you approach a woman. Like, for example, myself and my friends have had men come up to us with a really, really intense energy, like a very in-your-face energy, and they're really nervous and they're kind of scattered and they're very pushy or weird, and their energy is just off. And one of the most attractive things to a woman is emotional intelligence, and that shows within like the first few seconds of meeting someone when they introduce themselves to you. So if you're gonna go up to a woman, just
I actually disagree with that. Chad and Tyrone, you're saying that Chad and Tyrone, who just clap your cheeks and send you back out to the streets, they have emotional intelligence? Is that what you're saying? They're just having a conversation with you and you like the conversation. That's it. You just like the vibe of the conversation. It has nothing to do with emotional intelligence. If you mean maybe he came up to me respectfully, you guys came up to me like a creep. Y'all like to use that excuse because you actually don't really even like the guy. I mean, sure, there are creeps out there. There are weird dudes that come up to you and they're like, hey, you want to go back? You want to sleep with me right now? It's like, I don't even know your name. What are you talking about? Like weird stuff or just like a weird vibe? I get it. But some of this stuff that y'all are calling creepy or weird is just simple nerves. It's nervousness. And instead of staring at the man like he's weird and crazy, maybe try to help with the conversation. Well, why would I do that? Let me ask, why would a man, when you're trying to talk to him, when you're trying to convey a feeling and emotion that you don't really honestly and truly understand, why would he help you? But that's what you'll be looking for. A man to understand emotions that you can't articulate. So maybe you should kind of practice that with these guys.
It's like, take a calm, deep breath. If you see a woman working on her laptop or something at a cafe, you can go up to her and be like, hey, my name is so-and-so. I thought you were really beautiful and you seem interesting. I would love to get to know you more if you're interested. And then slipping her your number on a napkin or something, you know? Like, just coming up to women with a calm energy and not giving off this like needy energy or this like pushy energy. I think that is what women don't like. I think it's really sweet and cute to be approached in person, and I know that there's a lot of women like me. There's probably some women out there who don't want to be approached, and that's fine, and it's hard to tell who's who. But I think you can tell when you go up to a girl kind of right away if she'd be interested or not based on her body language.
You can't. Y'all think y'all be giving out cues. You don't. Like that. Y'all don't be giving out the signals you think you are.
And just be calm and natural and don't overthink it. You know, I know that's easier said than done.
Exactly. What natural is to you, a man doesn't. You guys got to start putting yourselves in the shoes of the man. He doesn't know you. So how would he know what natural and not weird is to you? Every time he thinks, there was a woman that said, if you come up to me and introduce, two women actually, and introduce yourself like, hey, how you doing? That's weird. I'm going to reject you. And if you come up to me and say that I'm beautiful, that's also going to be weird to me, because I think you might be trying to, take me and put me in the back of a van or something like that.
Do not approach you at the bar, not because you're not pretty, but it's because of this. I've been going to the bars every weekend with my friends, maybe for the past couple months, and I love it. I love socializing, and I'm single. And my friend and I were talking at the bar the other weekend, and we were talking about how we've never been approached by a single guy before. Like, maybe ever, which is just insane to think about. Like, I can name a couple occurrences where they have, but it was like people from Europe, and they're like a different breed of people, okay? So I feel like the culture in America is way different. Guys do not want to approach you, not because of how pretty you are or how you look, but it's really because they're scared of you. And then us women over here who are single are thinking like, we look amazing, we did our makeup, we chose the perfect outfit. Why aren't all these guys coming up to us? Even if we're not into them, why don't they just come up just to like make us feel good about ourselves?
Why? Why do y'all want men to give y'all so much attention if y'all don't like the dudes? You don't think that's humiliating to the guy? Where he comes up to you and says, oh man, hey, you girls look beautiful tonight. Hey, you mind if I speak to you? Yeah, my name is Johnny. I saw you cross the way and I thought you were, all of you women, you ladies are beautiful, but man, I really thought that you were stunning is the only word that's coming out right now. I really think that you're stunning. Do you mind, because I know you guys are having a girls' night. That's what it looks like. So I don't want to kind of stop the vibe of that. You mind if I get your number? Maybe I text you a little bit later. If things go well, possibly dinner, something like that. Are you open to that? Why would he do that? Just for you to say, oh no, I don't like you. Why would you even ask that? But thank you for the validation. Thank you for the ego boost. Thank you for the confidence boost. Now get out of here. And 20, 30 men in the club are supposed to do that for you. Why? It's humiliating.
Okay. Now I want you to think of the perspective of a guy. I'll never know what's in a man's head, but I have a pretty good idea from like my guy friends and going out a lot. Guys are intimidated by you, okay? They don't all have that courage or charisma or just bravery to go up to you like you have to somebody else. And on top of just being intimidated by going up to a stranger in general, you're probably surrounded by a big group of friends. And even worse if you're surrounded by your guy friends, because they're gonna assume that you're dating one of them, and no one wants to go up to a girl who's surrounded by a bunch of guys, okay?
It seems like you know some of the problems. So why, if y'all know some of the problems, then why are y'all not fixing them?
It's just a clock. So now you're probably thinking, okay, we have this information, but what do we do with it? First off, I don't really think bars are the best place to really find a relationship. It's great to meet people, have fun, really get to know other people. But if you're
Socialize.
putting all your eggs in one basket and really putting so much pressure on finding a guy that will take you seriously, that's going to be very hard. The other thing is that we always make fun of dating apps a lot, but I think the percentage is something like 60% of people now meet their significant other on the internet. Because people don't go up to other people anymore because they know they can meet you on a dating app.
I think people a lot of times try to make it seem like when a man shoots his shot online, or through online dating, then he's a coward for doing that. But if modern women would take a step back and say, wait a minute, this is beneficial for me too. I can, in the comfort of my own home, with my mind, because a lot of times modern women talk about men coming up to them aggressively. I think the last lady actually talked about that. He was so aggressive. He came with this aggressive energy. And when they ask for my number, I feel like I'm not able to say no. So I just go ahead and give them my number, and then I block them. And you know, they just bombard me. If you're on a dating app, you don't have to go through that. If a man asks you for your number, you can say, oh no, I appreciate it. But I think we ought to kind of talk through the app first, and until we kind of get to know each other. And you can have my Instagram though. Or if you guys have social media that you exchange, y'all can sit there and analyze, look through each other's stuff, and you feel a little bit more comfortable because you've gotten familiar with who these people are. I mean, you're not going to know them until you go on a date and you start developing rapport and an actual relationship. But this works for you too. I know you guys like to think that, you know, dating apps are only for men, and men exploit these dating apps to get women to sleep with them and stuff like that. But you guys are able, you're empowered. Come on now. You should be empowered to look at the facts of what a man is as far as you can see and say, okay, I'm willing to have a conversation with this guy. Match. Okay, I'm willing to see what this man is more about. Match. Instead of, oh, 6 foot, 6 figures, 6-pack. Match. Oh, he's on the cusp here. He's 5'11", but he's got a lot of money. Match. That superficial stuff is going to get you in trouble every time.
So much easier. This past Saturday, I literally went up to a group of guys and was like, do you want to play cards? I wasn't attracted to any of them, but I'm so happy I did it because I made a new group of friends and it was so much fun. And initially I thought that they weren't that fun. Like, they just seemed like they were like moping around. They all had RBFs, like whatever. And I went up to them and they ended up being the funniest group of guys ever. And I'm sure a lot of guys think of you that way too. You might have like an RBF, or just you don't seem approachable. But little do they know how you really are. So
that's a good thing. And you know, if you got to look at it from the videos that came out that night or that day, you're making a video about this situation. You probably never ever see a video from the guy. So if you went up to the guys and you approached them, they wouldn't then make a video and say, man, this woman really came over messing with us. Ew. But modern women will, even off of that interaction, going in and saying, hey, I know you guys all have RBF, but I still want to get to know you and make friends. They would have made a video and you'd have been content.
Are intimidated, and it takes so much courage to go up to a girl. And a lot of guys are cheap and just don't want to buy you a drink, and they're scared of getting used for a drink, which kind of sucks, but I understand. So do not weigh your worth and whether or not people come up to you, because you are probably way more stunning and people are probably way more attracted to you than you think they are.
Approach women anymore. So historically, women have always waited for men to make the first move. Is he going to go in for the kiss? Is he going to hold my hand? But now, whenever I talk to my friends about their dating history, all I hear them talking about is, oh, he hasn't made a move. He's not doing anything. We're not moving forward. So on the flip side of this normally ends up in men feeling like they're getting ghosted, or that there's just being told there's no spark. And from what I'm hearing from a lot of my clients, it's not because that you're not attracted to her. It's more about fearing that you're either going to get rejected, maybe you're going to get turned down, you know, slapped in the face when you go for that first move, or even worse, like getting in trouble with the law. So you need to ask yourself, does this sound like you? The truth is, you probably missed that golden opportunity to create that spark.
She likely was giving you signals that you just didn't quite catch.
This is what I'm saying. You guys are always putting it on the man to catch the signal instead of a woman clarifying what the signal actually is. Think about it. If you always change the code every day, there's going to be someone somewhere, most people, they're going to be working off of the old code, and they're going to, well, you need to get up, you need to be updated with it. Talk to me all the time. But you updated the code again from today to yesterday. There's no way that I'm going to keep on knowing the code. So if I don't know the code, I'm always going to be locked out. That's what modern women are doing. Each and every day, they're changing how they want to be approached. Each and every day, they're changing who they want to talk to them. I mean, really, it pretty much stays the same in some instances, but they're changing. Oh, I want to be approached like this, or, oh, Kim Kardashian was approached like this, or her husband, her life was like this. I want to be approached like that. Ooh, this influencer group, their couple goals now. I want to be approached like them. I want that type of love. You don't even know them.
Men, I don't know. I wanted to ask you, men don't come up and ask or talk to you anymore. There was this cute guy. He went to the bar at one point. So I was like, oh, let me go to the bar too. So I like saddled up next to him at the bar and kind of like gave like a look. And he looked right at me and then like looked away. I was like, okay, well, never mind. Like I was seeing something that apparently wasn't actually happening. And as we left, one of the other bachelorettes on this trip was like, oh my gosh, that guy kept looking at you. Did you guys talk? I was like, wait, what? You saw it too? I guess I could have said, hi, how are you? I don't know why I didn't. I guess I was like, I made that move. Meet me the other 75% of the way or whatever it is. It is.
I mean, once again, is it a crime to greet people? I mean, you greet your friends. If your friend doesn't say anything to you, you say something to them. Why is it different for a man? I mean, just say hello. Yes. I mean, I guess I could have. Yes, you could have. That's a part of being courteous. Goodness.
Is becoming like that. Like, I think that there's a shift in it. And honestly, women have to take more of the reins in a way.
That's a valid question, and I'm able to answer that for you. All right. The reason why that is happening is because there's a lot of risk for men to approach women. Okay, risk number one. Remember what happened in the Me Too movement? There's a lot of women that called out a lot of men for their behavior that was really, well, they needed to be called out. Rightfully so. But what happened is that a lot of men that were not creepy or didn't have any creepy intentions were being called out as well. And the worst thing that you don't want to be called creep as a man, right? So what happened is that, well, we don't approach people. That's it. Well, just don't be a creep. That does not necessarily depend on what I do, right? This also depends on how you feel. Peep game. Remember 50 Shades of Grey, right? Christian Grey was Christian Grey just because he was good looking, had money, and the lady was attracted to him. If he didn't have money, if she was not attracted to him, he would be in jail, okay? We know that. That's a fact. But if a Christian Grey is the way that he looks, with the little gray eyes and everything and stuff, woman fantasy. How do I know if I'm a Christian Grey of someone? You know what I mean? I don't have to go to that extent, but there's a risk. And there's also a lot of people are saying, well, what's the worst thing that you can say? The worst thing that you can say is no, that's not true. The worst thing that you can say is ew. And I know it happened to me, but that's besides the point, right? So, I think the dynamics has changed. You know, if you want to be more independent, if you want to have emancipation, right? Well, it comes with that. It comes with you having to do the work, you having to approach now. You know what I mean? The reason why men was approaching is that women couldn't be seen as too promiscuous. So they had to not approach. It was the men doing the approaching. You understand what I'm saying? And that changed. You guys are emancipated now. If you want to have this conversation, I can have this conversation and show you some man insight. I'd be more than willing to do so. And for the people watching this, tell us what you think. What you think happened, and which ladies do you want to approach?
Of course they don't. Most modern women don't. They want the man. They say that they want the man to take the lead in everything. And quite honestly, it gets tiring. At some point, they sit up here and say, well, you're the man. You want to take the lead. You want to be the leader, so take the lead in this. That's just another term. That's just another way to say, I don't want to do anything. I can put forth my best foot. I can put forth my best effort on the job, climbing that corporate ladder all day long. But when it comes to my relationships and dating, I need to be taken care of. I need you to have your money out. I need you to be ready to rub my feet. Anything and everything that I need you to do for me, you need to be ready to do it, and you need to be ready to do it with a smile. Period. End of story. Modern women, for some reason, think, oh, we're just going to make everything difficult, and men are going to be okay with that. Well, they're not. If you're talking about reasonable things that a man can do, cool. Go ahead and keep that standard. But some of these things aren't reasonable. Some of the things that you're asking, they're just not reasonable. I mean, just because you bat your eye 2 or 3 times, that man might have not even been looking at you. That, number one. Number two, that man doesn't know you. So you could have been looking at him. You could have been looking at somebody else. Might be dark in the club, might be dark in the bar. Who knows? The fact of the matter is, especially after you heard that comedian who met with a woman, she said, hey, I'm down to go back home with you. They had relations, got up the next day. And I think a short time later, she was talking about, oh, he did this to me. And, you know, he should be thrown in jail and he should give me money. There should be a settlement. Like, seriously, you consented to something and then you went back later on and changed your mind. And I think he was almost found guilty of the R word, of raping her, of taking advantage of her. Almost. And you want men to approach in this kind of climate? So this guy was actually responding to that same clip that Preach just responded to. And he's tackling it from a human behavior and psychology standpoint. Let's see what he has to say.
And if you want to know the real truth about what is going on here, it's because approaching women in 2025 is treated more like a crime scene than it is a compliment. You see, men used to be rewarded for their courage. You saw someone you liked, you walked up and said hello, and the worst thing that could ever happen is that you got rejected and moved on. But today, that same move will get a man labeled as creepy or even accused of harassment. And
what's funny is there was one time I was in, I think, maybe 6th grade, and I called myself liking some little girl. Okay. So back in those days, you would kind of write a note and then you might slip it in their locker, which is what I did. And she found that thing the next morning and the whole entire grade knew about it. Well, not everybody, but kind of the popular people knew about it. Okay. So that happened and it was embarrassing. And for a while there, I kind of avoided her. She, I think, straight up wanted to come to me and say, hey, you know, I appreciate you. And that's exactly what she did. She came to me and she said, after she stopped me, she said, hey, I appreciate you approaching me or asking me out. But no. I think she said something like, thanks, but no. You know what I mean? And I had a couple of people talk to me about it. Oh, so you asked her out? And they were just kind of inquiring, right? Nobody was really making fun of me about it. Really, the whole uproar was about, oh, I got asked out. Oh, he asked me out. It wasn't, oh, how could he ever? Right? I never got anybody saying that to me. I never even felt like I got looks. And maybe I wasn't paying attention. I never really felt like I got looks at people saying, how could he ever? Why would he ever? Why would somebody like that? Of course, social media wasn't what it was back in those days. I don't even think we had MySpace at that point in time. But the fact of the matter is, I thought she did it respectfully, right? To where I could at least pick up my ego and move on. There was somebody in the class that they actually had a crush on me. It was like, now, no, you like her, huh? Oh, so you gonna ask her out, huh? Girl, leave me alone. But nowadays, these modern women, they'll put you all over social media. They'll take the text message or the DM or the letter and they'll screenshot it. Ooh, look at him. Why would he even do? Oh, girl, is this? And they do that. Is this my Hinge likes? Is this what it's come to? Maybe I need to reevaluate who I am. I don't think, now that I'm thinking about it, I don't think I ever heard anything about it for more than a week. Like, it was the buzz. It was the talk of the town for about like a week, maybe two, and it was done. I didn't get dragged all over the place. I didn't really hear about it on the playground that I can remember, or during recess, nothing. So men at that point in time, it's a lot easier, in my opinion, for them to kind of pick up their ego from off the ground, or, you know, however you felt about it, pick that up off the ground and be like, okay, I'm good. You know, let's find somebody else that likes you or you like, and rinse and repeat. But like I said, nowadays, these women trying to embarrass you, man.
And it doesn't stop there, because one awkward moment could be filmed, posted, go viral, and ruin a man's life. Guys just aren't risking rejection anymore. They're risking their reputation as a person. And another point is that the rules to the game no longer make sense to them either, because culture is saying, be bold, be confident. But then it's also saying, but don't approach her if it makes her uncomfortable, unless you're clearly invited, which who the hell knows what that means anymore, because a look isn't good enough. It's not obvious enough anymore when it comes to the risks that are involved. When the rules to the game are unclear or confusing or constantly changing, that is very frustrating for guys, and it makes them just not want to play anymore. And here's the reality: men adapt. When culture is punishing risk-taking, they stop taking risks. They retreat into the gym, into their work, into their video games, anywhere where they're not going to risk being shamed for simply showing interest. So when women ask, why don't men approach me anymore? It's not that men don't care or they're not interested. It's that both men and women are stuck in a culture of fear and confusion. The truth is, most men want to be brave and most women want to be pursued. But until the rules change, both sides are losing.
A serious question for the guys. I have this conversation with my female friends, I think, like, I'm not even kidding, once a week. So I'm just curious what the real reasoning is behind it. But most of my girlfriends say that whenever they're out, they never get approached by guys ever. And maybe like one girl in the friend group who does get approached, it's not like she's a total standout from the group. But for some reason, like a specific girl might just like get hit on a lot. I don't know. But not even in a biased way. I think that some of my friends are very, very beautiful. Like, actually, I'm not just saying that to be nice. So it makes me really curious as to why guys don't go up to them. Is it like, one, even if you see an attractive girl, like you're just hanging out with your friends, you don't really care? Two, you're just simply not attracted to her? Three, maybe you like think she's just like in a relationship, or like she's just super standoffish and like bitchy looking, or like in general you just like don't want to deal with any type of rejection. Like, is it the guy's point of view, or is it just like the girls are putting out this weird vibe, or like just guys don't find them attractive? I don't know. But most of my
I think at some point in time, we have to make space once again for a guy being unsure. Guys are crucified for being unsure. They have to stick their chest out and just go full speed ahead. That doesn't make any sense, man. It just doesn't. That's stupid, actually. I mean, there's confidence, and then there's just stupidity. Like they're just overconfidence. Oh yeah, we're gonna go over here and do this. Do you know about this? Oh yeah, that don't matter. Well, okay. Do you know about? And you go down listing like 3 or 4 facts. Oh, none of that matters, because you know we're about to just go out there and just be confident. That's stupid. That's being emotional. And sure, there's an element to approaching women that is emotion. Like, okay, you got to get your emotions in check. Be disciplined. Go over there. Take a deep breath. Let's do this. But you guys, you guys have to understand, even with the emotions, they're fleeting. They change. They're not set in stone. So if you understand that, then you'll understand, okay, how can I help this man? How can I reassure this man? Hey, yeah, I was speaking to you. Come on over here. I was speaking to you. I mean, y'all don't want to, can you believe that, man? Y'all don't want to move outside of your bubble, but you want a man to essentially burst yours. Like y'all standing in y'all's little friends group. You're unsure. You're nervous about the man that you're looking at. Why? Did he see me? All of these things are going through your head. Did he see my look? Okay, let me look again. I don't want to feel weird. I don't want to hold the stare 5 seconds to make sure he understands that I'm looking at him. That's weird to me. Okay, if you were to reverse that feeling and then just say, oh, shoot, maybe that's how he feels, the world would be a better place. So now you can say, okay, let's problem solve. How can I make it clear to him that, yes, I am looking at you? Well, I ain't gonna buy him no drink. Ain't nobody told you to buy him nothing. They just said, figure out how you can make it abundantly clear, crystal clear. Hey, sir, not you, not your friends. I'm talking to you. I want you to come and approach me. How can we do that?
Friends like want to meet guys in person, but then they go out and just like nothing really happens.
Okay, here are some of my theories why men don't approach women in public. Okay, number 1, I think they have had a super horrible traumatic experience with like literally one woman. Like one woman really did them so dirty that traumatized them moving forward. Like they can't even move forward because they're still so hurt from the past one experience that they're moving from a place of hurt and not from like a healed perspective. 2, men have a very sensitive ego, and they rather protect that ego from it getting bruised just a little bit, just simply.
I mean, women do too. People in general have an ego, but go ahead.
By a rejection from a woman than to actually go and pursue something. Okay, and 3rd point, men have it way too easy now with all the dating apps and Instagram and sliding into someone's DMs. Like, why would they want to do that in public when they can just choose the easy way out and do it through social media behind a screen?
How is it the easy way out if y'all are not answering? Y'all don't answer in real life, and y'all don't answer on the online either. How is that the easy way out? If anything, it shows a man is trying to get at you in multiple ways, and you're non-responsive. And then you're going to ask why men don't approach. This is why. Y'all don't be giving men no cues. Y'all don't be responding. Y'all don't be saying nothing.
Mainly because we see it online all the time. If like a woman gets approached and she doesn't want to, about how she hates it, or the guy comes across as a creep, and most guys are just terrified of coming across as a creep. Right? But then at the same time, they don't know if you find them attractive unless they shoot their shot. But if they get it wrong,
they don't want to be rejected these days.
I think guys can accept the risk of rejection, but I think the consequence of being rejected by a girl who really takes it the wrong way is too high.
That's fair.
Okay. I have some thoughts about why I don't think men approach women, specifically in New York City. Maybe I can generalize to all metropolitan cities in general. This is coming from a girl who has been in a long-term relationship for over 5 years. So if that triggers you, please scroll, because fair, I don't have like actual in the field experience with this. But I have noticed this with all my friends who are majority single in New York. And when I go out with them, even large groups of women, which I know are very intimidating, I wouldn't approach a large group of women either. And also small groups of women, like I'm talking like 2 or 3 girls, where it's a more approachable number of women. Why I think this is not happening as often as we would like, or historically, is because I think women just have more autonomy now. I believe like back in the 1900s, 1800s, women couldn't own land, couldn't vote, didn't even think they could ever have a career. That never crossed their minds. They were trad wives living at home, supporting their husband, raising children, birthing children. Yes, of course, like many women still do that, and as they should and are, it's totally fine. But a reason why I don't think men are approaching women these days is because we're equaling the playing field. We have careers. We are basically attaining.
So what are you thinking? That's what I don't understand. Like, we're evening the playing field of what? What are we evening? Like, what's becoming equal? Approaching? Like, if that's the case, if you're kind of leveling up, then you should be able to level up your romance and approach a man.
What men also want, which is success. Many are businesswomen. Sometimes we can make more than men. You know, these things are happening. It's real. We aren't just spending time at home. We aren't just focusing on getting married and raising children. And specifically in New York City and metropolitan cities, it's just like there's a larger population of women who aren't as focused as being a stay-at-home wife as maybe somewhere, another city. Therefore, when man and woman enter a bar, man probably doesn't feel like a woman is as accessible to them. And this could be a total generalization. So, I mean, please don't be mean, but I really do believe men are mostly intimidated by women because women have more autonomy now. And I'm not pro.
So you're saying basically because a woman makes more money, now he's not going to approach because she's equal to him. Whereas back in the day, like the 1950s, he would approach her because she was beneath him. And because she was beneath him, then she was accessible to him. But now that she's leveled up, she's out of his league. She's got more money than he does, then he can't afford her. That's what you're saying. I'm intimidated because you might pull a trick out of the hat that I thought would get you. Like these smooth lines and, oh, I can pay for your lifestyle. Well, I can pay for my own lifestyle. What else? I'll give you babies. Well, I don't want babies. What else? I'll protect and provide. Well, I don't need protection and provision. I can call the cops for that. They'll protect me. And once again, I don't need provision because I can provide for myself. I'll mow your lawn. I'll take out the trash. I can take out my own trash. I'll buy you flowers. I can buy my own flowers on rotation. And even my friends, we give each other flowers. So essentially, what you guys are trying to do is whittle away at what a man does and trying to make it seem not important is actually what you're trying to do. You're not actually so far trying to understand a man's perspective on this. You're actually, in a very nice, respectful way, I would say, or I should say a very passive aggressive way, you're basically saying that men don't mean much. When I start making this money, there's nothing that they can give me.
Feminist, I'm not like raw, we hate men. I really just do believe the playing fields are equal. And I also put the pressure on women too. I'm like, I think we should be going up to men. Like, if it really is, if those of you who are complaining that men are not approaching you, like, yes, I don't really believe chivalry is dead, but it's really dwindling. I think you guys should take it upon yourself to approach men as well. I think being your true and most authentic form of yourself is the most important way to attract a man that is compatible to you. Always be yourself. But number two, I really do think men like confident women. And also, if you're attracted to a woman that's confident, like, you guys are going to find each other if a woman's approaching you. So all this to say is I don't think men are approaching women in New York City and other cities because we're equals. And I think they're intimidated.
Also, you have the other power dynamic that women try to assume when they approach a man. Well, I approached you, so I took advantage of the situation and I'm the captain now, is basically what you're saying. It doesn't really work that way. Y'all, for years after that, will try to establish yourself as the dominant one simply because you walked up to somebody and said hello. When you know good and well, if you walked up to somebody that you really admired and respected, then I'm such a big fan of your work, or I'm such a big fan of you, or man, what you did inspired, whatever it is, what you did inspired me, or I saw you from across the way, you would give them the ultimate respect. Hey, why don't you go ahead and lead this relationship? You're the one with all the knowledge. Why don't you go ahead and I'll meet you anywhere. I'll meet you by a dumpster. Just give me the knowledge that you have, and I'll be forever grateful for nuggets. You didn't even say anything, but I'll be forever grateful for that because I admire you so much. Y'all will give that to your boss or somebody that works in your same industry and you're trying to break through the ceiling. But you won't give it to your man or your husband who is literally going to give his life for you. That's literally what he has to do. You won't give him that same respect and admiration that you do a person that could fire you the next day. You never give a man that type of stuff. So it's not really about being equals. It's about how you're going to try to treat the man. It's about your mindset, your thought process on who the man is to you. If you approach him, oh, he's dead to me. Or if I make more money than he does, or even close. They don't even have to make as much as the man or more. Just close. If I make 85 and he's making 95, I'm close. So within a couple years, I'm going to be right at his level and maybe even past him. So I'm looking for a man that's 150, so I can respect him. If he has more money than me, then I can respect him. It's a very shallow way of thinking. That's what I'm saying. This is a passive aggressive attempt at trying to say, well, ever since we've leveled up, you guys have stayed the same. So that's why you're not approaching us, because you're intimidated that we're better than you. We went back, we got a squad. Think about the Olympics. Where back in, I want to say maybe the 80s, I can't remember when the Dream Team came about. Sorry about that. They were playing, these countries, I think they were saying, were playing against college kids, right? They're playing against college kids. So they're going in and destroying these guys, or their USA is losing. By the time USA decided, oh, we're not going to continue to play this type of stuff, and they got professional men that actually did it, it was no competition. So other countries said, you know what? Listen, we don't want to keep on getting blown out like this. So we're going to study the ways of the USA. As a matter of fact, when the USA goes global or international or whatever, we're going to have some of the players who no doubt are beasts at the game. They're good at the game. They're going to come play in the NBA. And while they're playing in the NBA, they're going to learn how to run things and do things in the NBA. So now they're going to go back to their home country and they're going to be leading the team. They're probably going to be the best on the team, and they're going to really, really fight hard to beat the United States. They're going to really, really show their pride. And they do. And sometimes the United States loses. But you'll understand and you'll see when the United States decides to finally quit playing around, then it's over. Well, we've been studying you guys for 10, 15 years, and when I decide to lock down and lock in, it's over. That's where modern women are. When men they're allowing you to do all of the stuff that you do, and you've gotten better. You're doing great. You're out here making moves, making money. Fantastic. But when a man decides to lock in, then it's over. Not because you're any less than him, but because there's certain things that a man is better at than a woman. That's it. End of story. Y'all keep on trying to compete with men. That's why you're not getting any men. That's why men are not approaching. Because y'all always want to compete with a man. Y'all always think, oh, well, I'm better than you because I make 10 cents more than you. No, it doesn't matter if you do or you don't. It just doesn't. We are on the same team. And modern women at some point in time, instead of putting out videos like this, need to try to understand, hey, I know we're killing it in our career. I know we're climbing up that corporate ladder. But we still need to show respect to our husband. We still need to show respect to the leader of our household. Give him respect and see how far you go.
Why do women think that when love fades, there's going to be an argument? Men do not argue. They just disappear on you. Kind of like Ghost did in Power. Literally, he had a wife, but he was in love with somebody else. Men just don't fall out of love loudly. It's literally quiet. And we all should be scared when a man gets quiet. He ain't slamming no doors. He ain't telling you that it's over. He just done with it, phasing himself out of everything. This is how you literally know when a man then fell out of love with you and he done with everything. He will stop telling you his wins. He definitely not gonna tell you about his struggles because he ain't loving you no more, so that means he don't trust you with his heart. You used to have those late night talks and now it's just all about late night scrolling, or he's literally there at home, but you can tell his spirit is someplace else. You wanna know how his body is there, but his man is someplace else? Is if you have to continuously repeat yourself when he is in your presence. That means that he is not listening to you at all because his spirit is someplace else and it definitely ain't with you. By the time you figure everything out, the distance is already there and he's gone. That's the difference between a man and a woman. A woman falls out of love loudly and a man falls out of love silently. Fortunately, some of y'all been getting shut out and you don't even realize it and don't even bother fighting for it. Now that you know, let him go his way and you go your way and everybody can be happier.
Some of these modern women don't even care. They don't care that man is not having a great time in the relationship. All they care about is getting that allowance every single week. All they care about is give me that bag. Do this for me. Give me this lunch. Send me money for this or that. As a matter of fact, give me money for all of the girls so we can take ourselves out to a nice lunch or dinner. Thanks, babe. That's all they really care about. But like you said, when a man stops talking, he had already packed it up. I'm doing my thing. I'm moving in silence. I'm doing what I was doing before. The stuff that got me here, I'm grinding. And you just missed your chance to go up with me.